Welcome to the channel. Today I will read a scary story from our community. The author is OP3 Leah. Their story is titled The Shadow. I work night security at a small regional hospital about an hour away from Chicago. For the most part, nothing ever really happened. The halls were quiet, the vending machines were old and temperamental, and the lights were always dim. It was stationed on the other side of the building in the security office, near the cafeteria. It always happened at exactly 3:33 a.m. The shadow would appear on camera 11 and move west. I'd grab my radio and call my partner. He would run down the hallway and report back that everything was fine. I started coming in early and staying late just to watch the cameras. But the shadow always appeared at precisely 3:33, and it never stayed long enough for me to identify it. I wanted to capture it on camera, but we found nothing. No person, no animal, no sign of life. As the sun began to rise, casting a faint glow through the windows, we made our way back to the security office. I sat down heavily at my desk, my mind racing. If you want to submit your own story, click the link in the description. Please like and subscribe if you liked this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. I had seen the shadow countless times, heard it breathing, felt its icy presence. Yet it remained elusive, a whisper in the darkness, a fleeting glimpse of something beyond my understanding. I knew then that the hospital held secrets, shadows that lingered where they shouldn't. And as the night wore on, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I wanted to prove that there was someone haunting the East Wing. She was an older woman with kind eyes and a gentle smile. Sometimes when I look at a reflection, I see the shadow standing behind me waiting to be seen. Whatever it is, I know it's not human. I explained what I had seen, hoping for some answers, some explanation. She listened patiently, her expression growing more serious with each word. "The East Wing has always been a bit eerie," she finally said, "even before it was closed off. But you said no one should be in there. Patients, no visitors." I pressed, confused by the conflicting accounts. "Out." The nurse hesitated for a moment, then sighed. "There are some places in this hospital where we don't go," she said cryptically. "Some things best left undisturbed." Unsatisfied, I continued my search. I scoured through old files, incident reports, and floor plans, trying to piece together the history of the East Wing. That's when I discovered the incident report from 2009. Nurse Peterson had been found dead in the exact location where I had seen the shadow. The official report cited heart failure, but the whispers in the hospital spoke of something more sinister: suicide. Was Nurse Peterson's spirit haunting the halls, forever searching for peace? Or was there something more sinister at play? Then I'd check the cameras again and there would be nothing. When the screen returned to normal, there was a figure standing directly in front of it. It was dark, faceless, featureless, almost transparent. It was the shadow. It had become real. I stood up from my chair and stared at the screen. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. I was frozen. The shadow reached out its hand and pressed its face against the glass. I blinked and it was gone. I raced down the hallway, adrenaline surging through me, my heart pounding in my chest. I burst into the supply closet where my partner was sitting. I saw it. I finally saw it. "It's real," I said. Panting heavily, my partner was calm, his eyes wide with concern. "What did you see? Are you all right?" "There's a presence in this hospital. Something's here," I said, my voice trembling. "Let's go check it out together." As we walked toward the elevator, I continued. At 3:33, I saw it walk right in front of camera 11. "I want to show you." We rode the elevator up to the 4th floor and walked down the east hallway. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead and cast harsh shadows on the carpeted floor. We approached camera 11. It was mounted high on the wall, facing a small alcove. The door at the end of the hall was slightly ajar, revealing a glimpse of the darkened room beyond. I turned to my partner, my voice hushed. "It's where I saw it, right there." Suddenly, a gust of cold air swept through the hallway, sending a shiver down my spine. The hairs on my arms stood on end. "Did you feel that?" I whispered. My partner nodded, his face pale in the dim light. "Yeah, it's getting colder," he replied. The hallway was empty. Sometimes the doors along the hallway would be open, but when my partner arrived, they would be closed and locked. Other times, the doors at the end of the hallway would be open. Those doors had been sealed shut since the wing was decommissioned. No one had access to them. At least that was what we were told. "Do you see anything weird on your end?" I asked. He replied, "Nope, nothing yet. How about you?" I spun around, half expecting to see the shadow. But when I turned back to the monitors, there was nothing there. I ran down the hallway and found no one. I didn't think much of it at the time, but later on, I learned that someone else had heard it too. I learned that other security guards had heard it. Nurses had heard it. Even doctors had heard the breathing. But no one ever saw anything, or at least no one admitted to seeing anything. "Yeah, I need you to check the East Wing. Cameras 10 and 11 show a possible patient walking down the hall, but there shouldn't be anyone in that area. He's either hiding or he's dead." My partner walked down the hallway and confirmed there was no one there. Called me back. "All clear here. Didn't see or feel anyone. I'll keep moving around." We agreed to meet up in the supply closet near the pharmacy. He made his way over. "You sure you didn't see anything?" "Nope, nothing." "What did you see? A shadow?" I checked the cameras, and there was a figure in the east hallway, but it's been closed since 2012. No one should have been in there. Yeah. I checked too. It's empty. I liked it that way. My hours were from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., so I had plenty of time to get used to the darkness. I looked away and back again. First I thought it was a glitch, but then something moved. It was on the camera farthest from me. It was one of two cameras focused on the same hallway. Camera 1 showed the west end of the hall. Camera 2 showed the east end. Something moved on camera 2, passing between the frames. It almost looked like a patient, a nurse, maybe even a visitor. I couldn't tell because it wasn't clear. It was a shadow. It passed down the east hallway, stopped, turned, and then it disappeared. I was confused. I rewound the camera footage. There it was again, human-shaped figure, darker than the rest of the hallway. It almost looked like a silhouette. It passed down the length of the hallway, and then it stopped. I watched it disappear around a corner. It was gone. All the monitors for the cameras were hooked up to a main computer in the security office, which was at the west end of the building. From where I sat, I could only see the entrances and exits, the lobby, and the gift shop. Everything else was out of sight. That's how I liked it. It was boring. The emergency room was pretty active at night, so I could usually count on a few interesting people wandering through those doors. But inside the hospital, it was always quiet. Too quiet. Every once in a while, I would hear a gurney rolling down a hallway or a nurse talking to a patient. Occasionally, a code blue would go over the loudspeaker, but those were rare. Most nights, I would watch the camera feeds. Try to focus on each monitor individually, searching for movement, but I would never find any. I started counting the tiles on the ceiling. One night, I don't remember what month or year, I was watching the camera feeds like usual, and one of the monitors flickered. I quickly grabbed the radio on my desk and called my partner. As the weeks went on, I started seeing the shadow more often. Then one night at 3:33 a.m. I heard breathing behind me. For months I saw the shadow every night at 3:33. I became obsessed. One night, after 3:33 a.m., I was watching the monitors intently. Suddenly, camera 11 went blank. Static filled the speakers. We spent the rest of our shift checking every room in the East Wing, every closet, every supply cabinet. The next morning, I spoke with the head nurse. I haven't worked at the hospital in years, but I still see that figure sometimes in my dreams. The end. I hope you enjoyed this scary story from our community.